I just wanted to share, I've been doing some sketching in this lovely plant stained paper journal. And this is my nighttime journal. So when I'm winding down and the day has been all kind of done, I go into this journal and I've talked about this before, but I have a set of travel paints and pencils and all that at my nightstand so that I can work in my bed, since I'm in my bed a lot because of my health issues. But anyways, I was filming today and pulled this out to share, and I thought, well, I'll go ahead and do a live sketch in here right now. So let me go ahead and flip over. You can see how pretty so far what I have been doing. So I love this cover of this one. That reminds me of a tree. This is a leaf, a fern actually, and then there's a daisy right there. And this is a heavier paper than I normally use. I was trying something else, and so I really like that. It's a different kind of a rag cloth. I did a little pup, little purple pup, because everybody always needs a little purple pup. And if you can tell, she has butterfly wings. So I just recorded something that was butterfly topic for the people that have gotten my willpower toolkit. I'm going to send you a little video of making a butterfly, and then look at her. Isn't she pretty? I love her. She has a little heart in her neck, and that was there. So what I love about the plant stained paper journals is that when I look at these pages, and inside this book, this is plant stained, these are plant dyed, and I hand dye each page. It's a different technique than I do the plant staining, and one day I will video that and share that as well in a course. Actually, it's going to be a fuller course. But when I look at these different textures and colors and shades and all that in the background, the shadows, it kind of tells me what it wants to be. And so I kind of go with it. So this one I was doing last night, and I think I was deciding if I was going to work on this more or start a new one. Let's go ahead and start a new one. Okay. So I haven't looked at this page yet. I do not know what I'm going to do on it. Let me sharpen my pencil while I'm looking at it. And if you see something, there's a little bit of a delay. So just so you know, there's like a 20-second delay, I believe, between me doing this and what you're doing, what you're seeing. Let me put it up here. So let's see what I see. I always do faces. I feel like I always do faces because I always see all kinds of faces, and I do. Oh, I love it. I do. And I guess it's just because I've just trained my brain to do this. And so I'm a couple weeks away from my second brain surgery, and before my first one I had asked the neurosurgeon if I was going to lose my creativity. They said, no, you won't lose your creativity. And I didn't lose my creativity. There's some cognitive issues. Memory is a big one, but it wasn't my creativity. So I don't know if you can see this, but oh my goodness, I can see this great. So I am using a black wing pencil, by the way, that I absolutely love. But there's a face right here, a profile. And this came all from the plant designs, the plant dyeing, I should say. Okay, so I'm not quite sure this nose is going to stay that way because this could also, the nose could actually drop down, but the eye, do you see the eye? Look at this eye. It's kind of a sideways eye. Oh, and you know what? This might not be a person. I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay, so, and then there was a line. There's a line here. I think you can see it. I can see these things on my monitor. So I'm going to come a little closer for you to maybe get a better look. And, but as I look and see her, do you see, she's got, let's see, she's got some hair here and up through here, and everything is here. It's all here. Yep, there you go. So what happens is as you start to, or as I start to sketch, and everybody does this a little differently, my brain, my eyes direct the image to go a certain way. This one had this, there's a little heart right in here. And so it becomes not about what I want to put on there. It becomes about pulling out what is there. That's my favorite way of creating on here. And I do this a lot. I almost every night. She's got a little, it's almost like she's got a little doodah around her little bun, maybe. Kind of a band, oh, like a bandana. There's a big flower. I know there's an eraser on the back here, but I like my stick eraser. Let's see. And I do illustrative type sketching. I'm not really into realism in my artwork. I like the whimsical nature of illustration. And let's see, I'm going to put in her pupil. So this all started because I saw her eye. I have a blending stump. One of my desert island tools. Do you see her eye now? This is weird, I know, but it was there. And that's kind of why I was thinking maybe that's not a person, but then her hair was here. So it had to be a person. So, because then I was thinking, well, maybe this could be an elephant, a profile of an elephant, and that would be the elephant eye. But I don't see how a trunk, I don't see a trunk anywhere. Okay, so let me fix this nose a bit. It's kind of weird too. So she reminds me of a cartoon character. Like she reminds me of Sally, Charlie Brown's little sister. Make her lips bigger. Too big. So I'm trying to use the shapes in the shading that's already there. Is she talking? Yelling? Screaming? There we go. So I think her mouth has to be open a little bit more. It's kind of weird. So sometimes I get into these messes because I want to use the lines that I see, but I have to alter them a good bit sometimes too. And that in there. Yep. I mean, she's there. I'm not sure how attractive she is in the way that I did her, but she's definitely there. I think that I'm going to leave her like that for a minute. So when I paint these, a lot of times I don't like to cover up too much um, of the book, of the pages. So I like to use vintage pastels here. And I like to use the decadent pies. Because then I can just enhance what's going on here. So a little bit of color underneath her eye, a little bit of color on top. I don't want, not doing it as a coloring book image, just kind of a suggestion. I think a lot of the shading from this page is actually in around her. So I shouldn't be covering up too much just by following the idea of what I've drawn. And her hair, we want to put her hair in there a bit darker. To see her a little bit more. She's got this kind of not chestnut. What is this color? That's really orangish. I'm going to put some brown in there. So I just wet with the base color and then let that move around a little bit on its own. That's a funky color hair, isn't it? But it's gonna be more brown. It's gonna dry more brown. That orange just kind of disappears and it becomes more of a brown. Okay, so I know it's her eye right there. That's weird, but also I think if I turn, even though this line was there, I may be able to put in a new line. So it helps a little bit. And then her chin, she's like this cross between a goat chin and a regular chin. Just like a little bearded area down here, but I'm not gonna give her any. Let's see. Yeah, she's weird looking. She is definitely weird looking. I want to lighten up this hair down here a little bit. And let's give her a little bit of white. Okay. And a bit of yellow. And I guess she would have some kind of clothes that would start maybe around here. Down the front. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and make her flowers bolder. So I paint a little bit around the edge and straight from the pan, the watercolor pan, and I take just a brush of water, there's no color on this, and pull from that color around the edge. As you can see, I just did a few petals at a time, because if I did the whole thing, that would dry too quickly. What I put on there would dry too quickly. Okay. And I think I want to go ahead and put a little bit of a drop of pink in there. And then some light pink. Let's see. It's just, I just love the practice of imagery and using what these natural stains and dyes give when they, you know, when the paper's dry, when the paper that I've dyed dries. Love it. She's just still weird looking. And I know why. I know her eye is set back too far from her nose, but that is where the eye was. I've already done the mouth. I wonder if changing the nose would give her a little bit less weirdness. Now I've tried that already, but let's try a different nose. That's the beauty of being able to erase, right? Except I lost my pencil. Guess I'll use, oh, it's right here. Okay. It's just this area is throwing me off because the dye that's right here made it pretty dark, darker than the other parts, and I'm not quite sure that's where I would, that's not where I would normally put her nose if I was sketching her without shadows. But I am sketching her with shadows. Now she does look like a goat. That's fun. This is what I do in my bed at night, is that I use all these little lines that I see, and I just play with them until they work or they just look strange enough, and then I just make it look really strange. But yeah, it's the nose is the problem. Isn't that the truth all the time? I know how that is. So see, there's a line there. But if I come out this way, all I see is a goat face. Let me leave that for a minute. It's not too bad. And put some clothes on her. I'm using for my classic set, I'm using some reds, some browns, and I hardly ever paint with reds. So, but I want it to have enough in there that I can pull out with just water and turn it almost like a burgundy when I add some brown to it. Oh, she's weird. Weird is good, right? Makes you look, makes you think. It's that nose. So the real line is this. It comes around and that's where I first had it. And it's just a little, maybe that's what I just need to go back to. It's just like this little bump. But it looks like it's too small right there. But I guess some people have a very small nose, right? Well, she has a story. So. Just adding some texture to her hair. All right, let's go back and darken that eye a little bit. Let's see if that pulls anything out. She's the goat herder, I guess. Doesn't that look like a goat at the top? Let's do her nose one more time. 8th, 9th time's the charm. The line is there that was from the plant stain. And I'm trying to go around that line. And usually when I try to go around the lines, it doesn't work because the natural dye shape or the natural dye color is not there. So, and then her eye, this was there. Take that out and see what that does. Yeah, that other part doesn't need to be there. And the chin, now that I've changed, you can see how durable this paper is. I mean, I have erased so many times. This is it. This is the natural way things occur. So her eyes are probably too far set back, but I can't really do anything about that because that's where the shading lines were. Unless I make it a little bit bigger. If that helps. It's a little bit better. And I think if I pull some brown hair to cover her eyes. Now she's getting a little bit more human-like. I think too, she needs to have some hair up close. There we go. And this line has to change. So this black isn't going to show up very well because I've already done pencil underneath it, and the pencil's resisting the watercolor. Well, she's kind of interesting. The plant dye paper is right there, which isn't making me very happy because that's not where I would want to have some marks, but it's where they are. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, I'm not crazy about that nose still, or her face, but that's what I saw. So that's the whole thing, is to let go and just embrace what the paper is sharing with you. So I would never have done this on my own, but the lines were there. So I go with it. And, you know, maybe there's just a story about a goat herder in here. I don't know. Let's put a little bit of color under here. And a little bit more on her cheeks that I've had up there before, but well, she's definitely weird looking, but I kind of have fun with weird looking. This is a white Alstabilo pencil that works on top of waxy faces, so you can see that helped a little bit. Yeah, she's kind of crazy. I'm going to put in a little bit. I don't know if I actually want to do this or not. A little dark, this transition between the pinks and the purples right there. Well, there you go. She has some kind of story that she's sharing. And who knows? Maybe she'll share it. All right. Well, you know, it's always interesting what happens. So this was the other night. I never expected to do a purple dog, and there she was. And then this, I did set out to do something with butterflies, but I didn't expect that. Definitely didn't expect to do an owl. And she just appeared because of the shadows and the stains of the plant dye. Same thing here. I saw this one. I'm doing this at night with just my little night light on, my little bedside light, and I didn't realize how green and yellowy she is. But I'm leaving her there because that's what happened. That's the natural. Then this one came out. She's kind of retro in a way too. I was thinking like years and years and years ago when they had the old, they weren't old, but the lady dancers at Disney, and they were dressed up similar to that with that little crown of flowers. And then of course I always have to have mermaids somewhere, and she was here. She kind of popped up. I really liked her. I'm still working on her. I really like the sketches sometimes even without paint. And then this oddball, and I love the oddball because she's like a combination of Edith, was her name Edith from Bewitched, the neighbor? I can't remember if that's her name or not. And no, it wasn't Edith. I can't remember. And I still see a little bit of Lucy from Peanuts in her, but now she's older. Now once I added paint, made her look older. What was the name of that woman who was the nosy neighbor? Don't remember. Okay. You know what? Let's give her some splotch of color. Kind of back here. I'm going to paint. I mean, I'm going to draw right on here too. So I don't want to cover. I don't want to do it too dark, but helps a little bit. So all I'm doing is just taking a little bit of yellow and splotching it, and then some teal green. And this is pretty watery, and making a background with those colors, which is just not usual for me either. I don't usually do yellow or greens very much, but it just seems to fit the bill here. Just scrubbing it in a bit. Oops, a little bit. She's still weird. Maybe she has a weird story to go with that. Okie doke. That is all I am doing on her right now. And I think I still might name her Edith. I don't know. We'll see. I like her. She's weird. Love that weird. Always loved weird. They need a little bit of yellow right in there. And she's spewing some kind of weirdness. She's whatever she's talking. I'm gonna have some fun writing about who she is. All right, so now that I made that folder, I'm gonna come over here and make this folder. It's a give and take and back and forth. All righty. I think that is it. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. As I pick up I keep picking up my paintbrush to add more. I think that she needs to have a little bit more cheek action here. All right, so that part is done. And then I'll probably take a pen. I'm gonna do just some little doodly things. So she has some kind of, not really tattoo, but a drawing up her neck, down her arm. I guess it would be a little tattoo. I don't know. Interesting. It just gives her some kind of something to add to her craziness. Right? I'll tell you, not every piece is a masterpiece, but every piece has a story. And I am going to write her a story about her. And I'll publish it when I do. I will put it on, I'll put it down in the comments under her when I do it. Here we go. Beautiful. Weird and beautiful. Love it. Love weird. Okay, again, I would have never ever made this without those lines being there. All right, so her cheek is now 2 rounds. So I'm gonna try to use some water to let go to get that line. I think that line though is pretty much like a water line on the paper now because I left it so long. But that's pretty good. All righty, we'll come up with a name and write her story. We shall see. I don't know. It's a little bit odd. This part is wet and I keep adding more and it keeps sinking into the background. So she just started out as a plant dyed paper like that. Oh, I see another person over here now. All right, that's for another day. Thank you. Bye.